Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Caphriel, and let's play some Vantage Master. Before we get started, I do want to mention another property of Magic Stones that I forgot to bring up in the previous video. In addition to providing MP and to providing a defensive bonus, Magic Stones also heal a unit positioned on them for 1 hit point each turn. So yeah, Magic Stones are kind of important. Anyway, let's get this started. Oh, the level tip actually does include that information. The level tips have a lot of important information and you should pay attention to them. In this mission, the player starts with several magic stones already under their control. Those of you who are less colorblind than me may be able to just see that on the mini-map, but I have to actually figure it out by trial and error. I'll just advance my master and summon a Far-End Cell onto that magic stone. Far-End Cell is a cheap and relatively well-balanced Earth Nadial. Riku's, the basic Water Nadial, have similarly balanced stats, but they have unusually high speed, so they'll get more turns than most. The Fire Nadial Hepatus has lower speed than most, but does have a move distance of 6. Our new Fire Nadial, Dolmdaller, is notable for its high magic power, AoE magic attack, and the fact that it has a Knight characteristic. Finally, our Air Nadial, Gwen Foss, which has a day characteristic, decent move distance and speed, and a ranged magic attack. You'll notice that summoning Far-End Cell onto the magic stone doesn't immediately capture it, but when its turn comes up, it will be able to wait, capturing it then without moving, and incurring a lesser delay, allowing it to have another turn sooner. The Adventurer's reasonably high magic stats make me think it'll probably be a lead from the front kind of master, so I feel pretty comfortable advancing to the foremost magic stone, and I'm going to summon a Dolmdaller because I want a chance to show its magic off. So now, before moving my Far-End Cell, I want to check where the enemy Gwen Foss can get to, which reminds me I haven't really talked about the sub-command menu, so I guess now's as good a time as any to do that. By right-clicking on any unit, friendly or enemy, Nadial or Master, you can access the sub-command menu. Sub-command menu provides some options for seeing where enemy units or friendly units can move or attack to. Most of the options are pretty self-explanatory, so I'm going to just take a minute to show them off here. The only one that isn't necessarily self-explanatory is effect range, which includes all these squares that the unit can move and target with either attack or magic. As you can probably imagine, this is quite a useful tool for figuring out what the enemy might do in its next turns. Knowing that the Heaven-type Gwen Foss the enemy has is strong against my Earth-type Far-End Cell, I'm just going to rotate my Far-End Cell to face the enemy, because remember, frontal attacks do reduced damage, and I'm just going to leave my Far-End Cell camped out here on this magic stone. As I expected, he attacked it, so now I have a chance to show off the Dolmdaller's magic. Dolmdaller's magic hits every unit adjacent to the Dolmdaller, including friendly units. And that star means a one-hit kill. Remember, the Fire-type Dolmdaller is strong against the Air-type Gwen Foss. That's why I was able to do that. Given the situation here, I feel pretty comfortable advancing and summoning another unit. This will be a good chance for me to show off the blocking I was talking about in the previous video. You can see here how the enemy Far-End Cell's range is limited by my unit's proximity. He'll probably attack my master next turn, but that's okay. Between my master's high physical defense and the prairie he's standing in, he shouldn't take too much damage, probably about 1 point. Yep, okay, so just time to charge. I cast from the flank down there with the Gwen Foss to keep it the heck away from his Hepatus, which would kill it pretty easily, or at least deal a lot of damage. So I'm probably going to summon another Gwen Foss here. The reason I'm summoning Gwen Foss is not just because he has an Earth type, but because they're also one of the best units available right now for killing Masters, especially the enemy Master, which has very low defense stats. They're good for Master killing because, like I've mentioned in the last video, they fly and ignore the blocking effect of enemy units, and their magic, it can target anything within range. So yeah, sometimes I screw up damage calculations and leave an enemy unit alive with only 1 HP left. That happens. The damage formulas in this game are way too complicated to compute in my head every attack. And I don't really feel like busting out a pencil and piece of paper every time I want to attack either. Alright, so you'll notice I've created a wall of units around my master. That's a pretty common pattern that'll be recurring a lot. It's a very powerful protective idea. Units adjacent to your master will, in addition to preventing enemy units from moving next to him and attacking, also block ranged attacks when they start showing up, at least most ranged attacks. Okay, so my current short-term goal here is to trap and kill the enemy Hepatus. I'm going to do that by moving forward, summoning another Recu, and then moving my Firebrand cell around behind it to prevent it from retreating. Alright, that's easily enough accomplished. Now, I want to move my Gwen Foss up, but I notice here as I'm trying to move it that if I move it just straight forwards, the enemy Hepatus will be able to reach it. A quick check to make sure that the Hepatus is as blocked in as I thought he would be, and I can move my Gwen Foss safely to the upper flank. And now it's time to start hitting his master. This enemy master is a Duke, which has pretty low defensive stats. That means he's very vulnerable to direct attacks. Normally, you're probably not going to see me attacking the enemy master much unless it's either really fragile, or I think I can drive it away from its current position, or I'm about to win the mission. That's just my personal style preference. I tend to think damage on masters is wasted because the AI will usually retreat and heal pretty easily. There are definitely times when a direct focused attack on the enemy master is called for, and we'll see some of that in later missions. So, given the pretty unfair starting circumstances, I'd say the enemy master held out pretty well, but he's about to go down. However, his Recu is going to kill my Gwen Foss, and we're going to see what happens when it does that. That bar going up in the information window is the SAT bar. I'm not sure exactly what SAT means, but it's basically an experience bar. And his Recu just got enough experience to level up. And normally I'd be upset about that, but this provides me a great opportunity to talk about Nadials and experience, or SAT or whatever, and leveling up. And one of the other features of the submenu, the detail info page. So I'll open that up, and down there at the bottom you see the radar buttons for level 1, level 2, level 3. That'll display the stats for the selected Nadial at the various levels. So it looks like the Recu just gets some extra attack power for leveling up, a pretty substantial amount actually. And this is the last important feature of the submenu, the destruction option. On the master's turn only, you can select a Nadial under your control and destroy it. While probably a terrible idea under most circumstances, it's useful when you have a Nadial that's out of position, or low on health, or both, and it would be better to resummon a new one rather than wait for it to heal or to move back into combat because of the upkeep costs. After my Faron cell hits the Recu, I'm pretty sure the Domed Owler can kill it with magic. This is a good demonstration that even though a fire type is weak against a water type, they're still able to deal some damage. And notice also that the Domed Owler's attack did hit and in fact kill my own Firebrand cell. I'm not sure if it gets SAT for doing that though. Nadials get a little bit of SAT for engaging in combat and dealing damage, and a great deal more for killing an enemy unit. And that's about gonna wrap things up for mission 2. I have wanted the second mission, and we can go back through the stats screen to see what I've wanted. Actually, one of the other things on the stats screen is the SAT that each Nadial has acquired, both the total for the type and the average. This can be useful to inspect to see which of your Nadials were the most efficient in that mission. So, getting now to the master level up screen, it looks like I've gotten some physical attack power and some physical defense power, and of course the 2 MP max MP per level that every master gets, and a watery pearl which will let us summon a new Nadial, and I'll discuss that Nadial next mission. And here we can see the riveting tale of Vantage Master in all its untranslated and improperly rendered glory. It's possible if I had Japanese fonts installed on this computer that would render correctly, but it doesn't matter because I can't read Japanese. I would like to take this moment to ask that if you have any questions or comments or things you'd like me to discuss in more detail, please leave a comment on the video or post in the thread on FantasyStrike.com's forums. Alright, that should wrap up the cutscene, and we'll get back to the world map in a moment, where we'll be able to see that there is a lot more missions available now. If you direct your attention towards the upper right-hand corner of the map information window, you'll see that some of these missions are Phase 1, the ones that we've completed and the ones that we're doing, and some of them are Phase 2. As I mentioned last video, as you complete some missions in the current phase, you unlock new phases, but I'm going to be going through the missions in order mostly. So that's all for this video, and please join me next time for the third mission when we're going to actually have some tactical situations to cover as I confront a fast and powerful master.